So about a week ago, a huge document was leaked from inside the ATF regarding their potential rule changes that fall in line with Biden's executive actions that he wanted to see happen. And these ATF procedures, rules that they are potentially drafting up right now that was leaked is pretty damning. This is, if it were to go through in the state that it is right now, it would potentially destroy huge portions of the firearms market and criminalize almost everything you do when it comes to building and buying guns. But before we really get going into the video, I want to say thank you to the sponsor of this channel, TacPack. They're an awesome subscription service. I think that TacPack would be a great way to gift something to someone that you maybe know is into guns and outdoorsy stuff, but you're not quite sure what to get them. For a small fee, you can have a subscription box full of goodies sent to them every month. Maybe sign up for a few months for them, send them some stuff. They usually get a couple knives. I've gotten knives literally scattered all throughout my house at this point. So for me, I like getting them because of that. Thank you to TacPack. If you use the code, which I will have linked down below in the description and in the pinned comment, use that code. It'll get you a swag bag with your first order. I'm very thankful to have their support. They've been a huge supporter of me. Some of the stuff that I keep in my range bag that has actually come in clutch. One time someone had an AR-15 that was a fixed mag and they didn't assemble it properly, and because I had a little tiny Allen wrench and a little tiny Torx bit, I was actually able to get their gun back up and running because of the thing that I got sent from TacPack. So for me, I think they're pretty cool. I was hesitant to initially make this video because I felt that the 107 pages is just a lot to sift through, and I think a lot of people kind of jumped the gun initially when they tried to break it down. And it's kind of just personally, I felt like I wanted to wait. I wanted to wait to have a better way to describe what's going on in this. And in that conversation, I had a chance to speak with Matt from Fudbusters, great guy. He's an actual lawyer. He went through and created an excellent video, in my opinion, as far as what it really could affect. Now, in these 107 pages, it covers a lot of things. So typically right now, if you wanted to build an AR-15 in your home, you could just go online in most states, buy an 80% lower, and you would be able to mill that out in a couple of hours, maybe in your own house, and you'd be all good. Then you could build the rest of your gun with parts that you ordered online, and the government would be none the wiser. And that's awesome. I think that's pretty cool. But what this bill, or what this rule change that the ATF is proposing, it seems like it's more like legislative action as opposed to rulemaking based on the legislature, what they've approved and actually signed into law. The reason being is because it covers a lot of things. It talks about what they consider readily convertible into a firearm, which affects how easy it has to be in order to actually make a firearm. Because currently, right now, the definition that the ATF uses for an 80% firearm is that 80% of the machine work has been done and not any amount more. So that you, the end user, would have to do about 20% of the work. For some firearms, that's a lot of work. You might need some special tools. For some firearms, you might not need all that many special tools. And that's where the ATF is targeting. In this big document, part of what it breaks down is saying examples of what it considers readily convertible. Any less work than a full machine shop working an 8-hour day, the ATF could potentially be considering readily convertible, meaning that your 80% lower would definitely be considered a firearm under these new interpretations of the rules. And the thing you need to keep in mind is that these rules are not set in stone yet. This has not gone through. There will be a public comment period, and that's when we really need to take action. Right now, I'm just trying to make people aware of it. Some of the other things that it breaks down is the fact that on an AR-15, when it comes to the federal definition, there is no individual part on an AR-15 that is legally considered a firearm. So the gun as a whole, like this is clearly a firearm. This gun completed, this is a firearm, very clearly. Now, a stripped lower receiver on its own doesn't necessarily meet the definition of a firearm, and that's why we've seen many instances in the past of the ATF discussing changing what it considers a firearm, because the lower receiver on an AR-15 doesn't actually meet all the requirements. And have been several people who have gotten out of court cases because they technically weren't breaking the law. Now, I'm not a lawyer, this is not legal advice, but this is something that the ATF is looking to change, and it's changing it if the way that it's written right now goes through in a way that is so vague that literally every single part of the firearm, or that's a little bit dramatic, almost every single part on this firearm could be considered a FFL item, meaning that it would be considered a firearm itself until the ATF makes a determination as far as what they would consider the firearm. And if that sounds confusing, it's because it is. If you want better information or a better potential breakdown and a plan of what we can and can't do about this, my personal recommendation, go check out Fudbusters. It's a 15-minute video. It is a great way to truly understand about what's going on right now and how we could potentially fight it. Don't, however, go out and describe in depth how the ATF can better regulate what we do and don't do. Do, however, point out the issues at hand. So I'm not saying that you should go out and say, well, actually, ATF, if you wrote it like this, you would be way more enforceable and way harder for people to work around. Don't do that shit. Don't give them ideas if you don't have to. We can talk about loopholes all we want, but don't literally write a law for the ATF, right? But you could potentially point out the fact that these laws are incredibly vague, and that potentially puts a lot of people at risk that may not stay up to date with the general whims of how the ATF decides to change what is and isn't an AR or what is and isn't a firearm. So if you want better information, please go check out Fudbuster's video. I wanted to just kind of bring this out there and talk about it. So if you have any questions, drop a comment down below. You guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace. Okay, look, I got to give some thanks because this channel has kind of popped off lately. Thank you everyone on Subscribestar. Specifically, I want to say thanks to some people on Subscribestar. Travis Parra, Jacob Munoz, Mongoose, Thickhawk45, Tyrannical Banana, Truby666, Megastab, Nathan Wangza, We the People, Jay Schindeldecker, Tyler Smith, California EDC, Jennifer Ferosin, Twisted Steel, Alan Powell, Jason Valentine, Fox, Killjoy, Upload, Raf, Jason Hernandez, Arthur Rodella, Rogue Ranger, City Boy, Micah German, Space Potato, Control Pew, Freak Party, Bane 1989, Archer, Big Sexy 82, Iraq Vet 07, Nathan Lewis, and H. Greg. Thank you everyone that supports this channel and makes what I do possible. I really wouldn't be able to do it if we didn't have the support in the community that we have. If you want to get into the Discord right now, the best way to do that is to join the Subscribestar. Make sure you link your Discord account to your Subscribestar account so that you can actually get in. I love having the conversations over there with you guys. It's fun. It's a good way for me to kind of interact with you a little bit more personally, a little bit more often, especially when I'm not uploading a video every single day. And, you know, it's just a little bit more. You can usually reach me there, share some stuff. A lot of the videos that I've been making lately, I actually got initially informed about it from there. So there's a great group of people in there, very smart, very educated. Thank you, everyone.